Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are in conversation today with actor Ritwik Bhowmik. Ritwik, thank you for being with us today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me there. Thank you so much.
Let's get started, by just talking, of course, about your last outing on OTT. That was, of course, Khaki, the Bengal chapter. It has earned a lot of praise, both from critics and, of course, from audiences. Now, when you look back at the response, what do you feel about it, and what was said about your role in particular?
I feel, I don't know, now a little bit of time has passed, but I can, like, in retrospect, think about everything, right from like signing the project to now winning an award as the most versatile actor for Khaki. It's been quite a journey. It's one of those rare projects that complete the entire circle for an artist, and
Yes.
it's turned out to be one of those projects, and I'm glad that it happened to me. So in retrospect, all I can think about is the fact that there's a destiny. Probably everything is slowly unfolding and making me understand that probably there is something called a destiny, and we've all got to believe in it.
Okay, so of course, yes, as you said, happy with the response, and also it's earned you an award, as you mentioned. So you're happy, of course, for that. But in hindsight, do you believe that it was a bit of a risk as well? I mean, people have always seen you as the hero, chocolate boy, if I can call you that. That's the image, of course, that you had in certain shows that you've done already. So do you believe it was a risk to take on a character with these gray shades? Bit of a negative avatar as well? Or is this something that you were seeking for quite a while anyways?
Well, it appeared to me as an opportunity more than a risk. Most of the times that the choices that we're making as actors, they in hindsight might seem as risks, but at that point in time, it's always what is the more exciting opportunity. And that's what Khaki was for me. It was the more exciting opportunity. Now that I think about it, yes, there was a mold that was working, and everybody was happily giving me work in that mold. But what really excited me, and why I called it an opportunity, was because I felt what Friday Filmworks and Netflix saw in me, and a lot of other makers did not at that point in time, was the opportunity that I've been looking for quite some time, and waiting for somebody of the likes of Neeraj sir to put that faith in me, and that happened. So yeah.
Okay, great. Also, when you're on sets with a maker like, of course, Neeraj Pandey, you're on sets with such acclaimed actors, from your home state, and of course from Bombay as well. How does that feel? Is it like an acting workshop back again?
Uh, One can say so. Well, not formally, of course,
Yeah.
but just by sitting there in the rooms with these actors, sharing screen space with them can work totally as an acting workshop, because the amount I can learn from just observing them and watching them at work, they are stalwarts. They've been working for 20, 30, 35, 40 years. I think Bombada has been working for 40 years, if I'm not wrong. So they are stalwarts of what they do, and fortunately, I'm in the same field as them, and fortunately, I get to also be on the same set as them. So it was quite a learning experience. But more than anything else, I just feel like the cast of Khaki has just been a ball. Like, we've all been friends. They've all been like older brothers. And it was a heavily men-driven set because of the storyline. And most of the actors were male. And so there was a kind of a brotherhood that went along the ensemble. That does not mean the actors who were not men were ever sidelined, because they were also part of the team. We were all brothers together. We were brothers in arms.
Okay. And also now, taking the Bengal chapter ahead, you've gone back to your Bengali roots once again. You're doing a Bengali film currently. Is that correct?
Yes.
How's that going?
Yes, that's true. That's going very well, actually. We're almost done with the film. And I think there are 2 songs left and a few more scenes. So like 3-4 days of work left. And that's going to happen by the end of this month. And the film should be ready for release by November, if I'm not wrong. So it was very exciting. That was something that I was really hoping to do someday. And that someday arrived quite soon. So I'm quite happy about it.
Does it seem like life has gone full circle from where you started, from where you began this journey? You're back there, although now as, of course, a star.
Yeah, I guess one can say that, because going back to your roots actually completes the circle many a times, most of the arcs of stories. And that's what happened with me. And it's uncanny, because when Bandish Bandit got over, the credit line, the storyline that the arc gets over with is going back to your roots. And immediately after that, I did Khaki. going back to my roots and working in Bengal and playing a Bengali character for the first time. And right after Khaki, I'm doing a Bengali film. So I'm trying to get as deeper into my roots as possible, and
Yeah.
it does feel like a complete circle. But there's a long, long way to go. Hopefully, the
Okay.
circle keeps expanding, and I can only feel the completion after a while and not so soon.
Yes. I was reading a couple of comments that you made, Ritwik, on on social media game, and how that's also dictating how a lot of actors are getting cast these days, and how you're a bit of an anomaly to that. And it, in fact, interestingly correlated with a conversation that I had with Anupam Kher just a few days ago, where he said that he had actually, not asked, he had asked his leading girl in this film, Tanvi the Great, to not be on social media. And he said that's obviously that's an aberration, because these days actors are getting cast because the number of followers that they have, and Anupamji feels that that's not a good sign, for acting in the industry. What's your take on that? And has the social media game ever, kind of put pressure on you as a young star?
I come from Kher school, so I will never, ever, ever defy anything he says. So I completely agree with him. That does not mean that every actor should follow the same process. I think everybody should see, acting is a job, and selling yourself as an actor is a different ball game altogether. And your social media game falls into that category where you're trying to sell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And why? I mean, many a times when you use the sentence "sell yourself," it's many a times looked down upon. But I don't say it with that intent
Sure.
at all, because I feel like we live in a capitalistic society. We work in an industry which is extremely economically driven. The film industry is not just about craft; it is also about economics. And from the base root of it, you need at least some money to make a film. So money and films go hand in hand. And hence, because there is capitalism and there's economics involved, hence selling and buying is involved. So even as an artist, you've got to sell yourself
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other. But what Kher said, and what I truly believe, is that I have come from a point of view where my selling point is going to be the characters that I play. And I've
Right.
always wanted to keep myself away from the characters. So
Okay.
when people watch me playing a character, I do not want them to simply say, Ki, let's watch Ritwik on screen again, because they're going to get bored of that very soon. When the stars of the 90s come out and say that we are the last of the stars, they really are saying the right thing, is because that era of following a performance or a person is slowly diminishing, and what people are really looking for is how good are you at what you do, more than anything else. It's not simply about how well you sell yourself or what is your story outside of the movies. It is also about, okay, great, we are in your journey, we sympathize to where you came from and where you want to be. You can come from anywhere. You can be an insider, an outsider, this, that. No matter what tags are put upon you, at the end of the day, what audience really root for, and I've seen that happening multiple times, whether they are super hits and blockbusters or underrated projects, where audiences have come out, spoken on the internet or other services, where they have come out and said that this performance is good, you got to watch out for this actor. So it
Yes.
really stands out for them what you do as an actor on screen more than who you are in real life anymore. Instagram is a place where you can share your identity and your expression very, very well. And I feel like I want to keep my identity to myself and my family and express through films. So social media has never really been a place for me to express.
Okay.
And you never know, maybe a few years down the line, I'll really adapt to it and find a
Yeah.
way to find expression through that form. But right now, cinema and playing characters is how I find my expression, and I'm going to stick to that.
Okay. You spoke about, of course, outsider, insider. Has that ever been a challenge for you, given the fact that you are, not from a film family, and you're not from Mumbai per se either?
Mm, uh, because it's such a debatable topic that we've also been speaking about it for so long, like
Hmm.
the topic of insider outsider has been a conversation for so long now. I think we're almost going to touch a decade of having this conversation, but it is a debatable topic, and hence the debate will go on forever and ever. But my point of view, my personal experience so far has been that every time I've delivered good work, I have been offered more work.
Okay.
And I I think I do not remember instances where producers have first asked me where I am from and what I've been, where I have grown up, and so on and
Mhm.
so forth, and then offered me work. It has always been the other way around. They've seen some work of mine, they've offered me work, more
Right.
work, and then probably we've sat down and discussed, where are you from? Like, where did
Okay.
you come from, and what does your
Okay.
family do, and so on and so forth. So, in artistic expression and places like cinema and acting and storytelling and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, that it really depends what you offer to the film more than anything else. Now, if a maker is looking for not just performance, but more than just that, like there's traction and marketing and so on and so forth, then they lean towards the artists that they favor and so on and so forth. And that's absolutely fine, because at the end of the day, I believe, yaar, agar maine party rakhi hai, and if I'm spending in it, then I decide who's invited, right? It's as simple as that. And I feel like the film industry has been working exactly like that, that if I'm putting in the money, if I'm making my profits, then I make the decisions who gets to be a part of it. And I think that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Because at the end of the day, as we discussed earlier, it is an economic device, like you've got to sell your movies. So that's absolutely fair. So that makes complete sense, whether if somebody's casting through social media or what relations they've had with you and so on and so forth, or simply according to what kind of performer are you. And in my case, so far, touchwood, it has always been what kind of performer are you, and not who you're friends with, or do I know you from somewhere, and so on and so forth. And that's worked in my favor. So yeah, I haven't really seen the deep end or the wrong side of this conversation, but I know this conversation is persistent and it's going to be there for a while.
Well, let's hope that continues, though. That you don't have to see that, because of the good work you keep getting.
Thank you.
Let me ask you though about how this journey started for you. So when did you first decide or have this dream of becoming an actor? Do you remember what age that was, where you were at that point of time, how this journey started of Ritwik Bhowmik?
My mother always, like, I remember when I was around 12 or 13, and I went up to my mother and told her that this is the kind of future that I see for myself and this is who I want to be as a professional. I remember that she tells me a story of when I was 4 years old and I was watching Baazigar in our little apartment in Mysore. And it was just my mother and I at home. And we were watching this film and having our lunch. And as soon as the lunch got over, my mother picked up the plates and went to the kitchen, and she heard me howling in the living room. And then she rushed out and to check on me, and she asked me what happened. And all I could say is ki Shah Rukh Khan mar gaya, because I couldn't understand beyond that. And then she explained to me that this is a movie and he's an actor and he's playing a hero. Heroes always come back, and he did the good thing, and they always teach you lessons. That's what stories are about. That's what heroes and villains and so on and so forth are about. That's what movie making is. And this is a movie. This is cinema. And that was the day that I told her, of course, the lack of knowledge that this is actually a profession and what goes into it. That was the day that I told her that ki main hero banunga. And here we are. Because back then, hero was the thing. I didn't even know that he's an actor, what an actor is and what acting is. I had absolutely no idea. But that stayed with me. That stayed with me till date. And I think it's going to stay with me till the end of my lifetime. That ki main hero banunga. And I've just been acting from, I think the first time I went on stage, I was 8 or 9 years old. And since then, I haven't stopped performing. It's been my calling. I truly believe that I was born for this.
Fantastic. Amazing story as well. And let's hope you get to work with Shah Rukh Khan as well.
I hope so too. I really hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, Chali, manifest that. I'm sure these days, Ritwik, wherever you go, this is a question you get asked. When is Bandish Bandits 3 coming?
That's a question that even I've been asking a lot. And I really hope that it happens soon, because so far everybody's just moved to their own ways, and everybody's like working on a lot of other things. Leo Media Collective, Anand, Amrit, all the actors of the ensemble, everybody's doing their own thing right now, but hopefully we'll all come back together and bring another season of it very, very soon.
Okay, we're really waiting for that, of course, very, very soon. As you said, of course, just a short while back, that you would love to work with Shah Rukh Khan. But what is, of course, another dream role that you're manifesting these days, if the producers are listening?
Oh, wow. So many, actually, so many. I really wouldn't know how to just point at one, but at the top of my mind right now, two roles that I've always been like huge and huge admirer of, because of the way they've been written, and of course because of the way they've been performed. It's Khan Saab's role from Dil Se. Abhimanyu Rai, if I'm not wrong, was that his name? If I'm not wrong, he worked for the All India Radio. That's one part that I absolutely love, and his arc and the way it's written, and of course how Khan Saab's performed it. And there's also a film called Dallas Buyers Club, and Jared Leto plays this transsexual HIV patient.
Okay.
And it's one of the finest acting performances that I've seen.
Wow. It's quite a,
like, I don't know.
That's quite a variety.
That's
If
quite a
I can,
variety. हाँ जी,
yeah,
मैंने spectrum खोल के रख दिया है कि now
बिल्कुल.
in between this spectrum you can add me anywhere.
But already आप स्पेक्ट्रम बढ़ा रहे हैं अपने काम से भी. Bandish Bandits to Khaki, to very, very varied roles and different roles. So let's hope that continues. Thank you very much, Ritwik Bhowmik, for joining us today on NewsX.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.